us for further related updates. We now move on. US Secretary Treasury Scott Bessent says the Trump administration is prioritizing the quality of trade deals over deadlines just days before a crucial August the 1st tariff cutoff. Speaking to CNBC, Bessent said Washington won't rush agreements just to meet a timetable, adding that President Trump will decide whether to extend the deadline for countries engaged in productive talks. If negotiations fail, Bessent warned that higher tariffs could be reimposed to increase pressure on global partners. He also commented on Japan, saying Washington is focused on the best deal rather than internal Japanese politics. On Europe, he warned growing engagement and said the EU may want to negotiate faster. The administration continues to evaluate possible exemptions, including in the aviation sector, but made it clear that high-stakes trade strategy will remain a Trump call. Furthermore, according to reports, India's trade team is back to India, and a deal with the US is likely by September to October. We're once again joined by Dr. Dewar to discuss this further. Dr. Dewar, what are your thoughts here? What are your thoughts in Donald Trump's negotiating tactics? We've seen different approaches to different countries. We had a 90-day pause in these tariffs for deals to get done. We saw two deals done in that time with the United Kingdom and with Vietnam. Donald Trump has now said that he will give extensions or exemptions on these tariffs based on productive talks. What are your thoughts of his methodology here?
I think short term his strategy might work, his tactics might succeed, but I'm not sure. Pushing people into a corner and saying that either you go by what I'm saying, you enter into a bilateral agreement with the United States, or you would attract impositions, higher tariffs, and other kind of restrictions upon your trade. And that dependence which Vietnam has upon the US, we all know that, and they accepted it. The Vietnam government has accepted it, though it's yet to be seen how, if the doubling of the duties on transshipments through Vietnam, which basically the US administration was alluding to the trade which takes place of Chinese goods through Vietnam, that will attract a much higher duty, how it would actually fan out, because the consequences there would be exactly what we were discussing a little while ago. The burden of is going to be upon the US consumer. Yes, the Treasury might make some money when the goods cross the borders, but at the end of it, it is going to be dampening on the US economy. You also talked about the trade deal with United Kingdom. Yes, UK had an ally of the US for a very long time during the last World War. Since then, the trade has been sizable, and the defense transactions between the two countries are humongous.
Dr. Dewar, critics of Donald Trump's methodology when it comes to his economic policy have described it as protectionism and unilateral bullying. There's also been allegations of Donald Trump using trade deals in terms of negotiating peace deals. Particularly, there's been allegations that he used one in regards to the India-Pakistan conflict, both of which have denied that, obviously. However, what's your response to Donald Trump using these trade deals in the way that he does, that people have described them as bullying, as protectionism?
I think President Trump, I'm sorry to say that, is using trade as a weapon. A weapon for bringing about peace. It might sound a little contradictory, but weaponizing trade, and here on the one hand we say China should not be doing it, China should not be using the advantages which it has in, say, rare earths, certain rare earths, and minerals and other kind of things which has its advantages in, and it should let free trade prevail. It should go by the WTO's regime, that was a regime for free trade, but by him, on its own, he's exactly doing the opposite.
Yes.
Telling the countries, agree quickly, otherwise the earlier impositions which were there, those will come back. You know, the ones prior to April, or yeah, that was in I think sometimes in April, when he gave 90 days window to countries to negotiate, etc. I would say yes, in the short run. Again, I make a distinction that immediate run, it might benefit the U.S. Their coffers will fill up because the duties are higher. But anything beyond that, I don't see any advantage for the US economy. Recession could set in, inflation could be there. Contradictory, what I'm saying, recession and inflation usually don't go together, but you can have a situation when not enough economic activity takes place, and the high tariffs which he imposes have to be paid for by the US consumer because they have no other option. So I am not at all for for negotiating long-term trade arrangements by using deadlines, by using imposing higher tariffs, and those kind of things, which
Yes.
you are forcing yourself, your successors, as well as the other governments with whom you are talking, that you could bring about lower rates of growth there, and those countries could also get hit by sort of a stagflation or a recession. And who's the winner? Nobody, neither the United States nor the countries with which it is trading, and the world's economy would slow down, unfortunately.
Yes, Dr. R.J. Jua, thank you very much for your insight on that topic. We now move on to another